Tyler, how you feeling?
I am excited. I'm very excited.
What time is it?
Midnight.
On what day?
Day before the presentation.
No, it's officially the day of the presentation.
Oh.
Yup. So yeah, we present in about 9 hours, and the launch video goes live in about 10, and we're finishing the video right now.
So get ready.
Yep, we got the business plan done. We got that done. We got the blog post that's going to go up tomorrow. So tomorrow's pretty much set once this finishes rendering. Yup. And it's midnight the day of. We didn't even procrastinate. Spoilers.
Well, I tell you what, let's get right to the program. I'm going to introduce Jazz right here. She is ready to rock and roll. Jazz, it is yours. Wendy's going to keep time for you for the 6 minutes. And you have the floor.
All right, guys. So my name is Jazz Youngblood. I am the owner and co-founder of Now Loading LLC. We officially got that title last week. My two business partners are Josiah Youngblood and Tyler Kaiser. They're sitting here in the front row. So Now Loading essentially is the 21st century arcade meets the digital media training ground. So imagine that you have a place where people can go to work on their skills, a place where they go to create their dreams, but they just don't have it here yet. That's what we are. So our timeline so far has been that the idea came about in July 2018. At this time, I was studying abroad in South Korea, and I got to go visit what are called PC bombs. What those are internet cafes full of hundreds of computers where kids go after school and they just play video games. The other thing I got to go do was in Hongdae District, which is the university district in Seoul. They had the VR Square. Now, South Korea's VR versus what we have in the US doesn't compare. South Korea's VR is if you were to go to play laser tag, you remember how you put on the vest and you've got all of the headgear and everything? That's what their VR is. So it's fully immersive, you are 100% in the game. Come August, we started making all the social media. At this point, it was still me. In September, I launched the website and then the online version of the business where we started launching all the pre-launch videos and everything, which are up on the website for you to view. Those started getting posted. October is when I started looking for a team. It did not happen until December that these two joined officially. So the vlogs were being uploaded, we started working on the business plan. The Indiegogo, which is our fundraiser that just launched this morning, that got started in November. December, Josiah and Tyler joined. We decided to tour potential spots in town for our business to be located and settled on 2. January, we have officially become an LLC. We have officially gotten our bank account. We have launched the GoFundMe, Indiegogo, my bad, and we have submitted 2 lease proposals. February, we're hoping to, once our Indiegogo ends, we're going to get out all of our rewards and then ask the bank for whatever is left over if we haven't raised enough. And then March, we start build out, and we're hoping to be launching in April to May. So our goals are pretty simple. In the short term, which is less than 2 years, we want to make sure we're making a profit. We want to have an active social media following. That way we can get more people in the space, but we're also wanting to help take our creators and get them a push off so they can create their own thing. A lot of that is just the new digital age concept. We want to have about a 60-40 ratio of members to day pass recipients, and we're going to start looking at expanding out the space to include a music producing studio. Whose car is that? A music producing studio, and then also provide scholarships and other opportunities for our local community members to use esports or digital media as their way to get to college or university. Our long-term goals are all of those, and then we also eventually want to start our own professional esports team with what Yukatsu is doing with helping the youth through high school and middle school programs. We have Stevens, MU, and Columbia College all have esports teams now, and so we want to provide that professional level of competition here in the Midwest. So far, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. These are our main marketing. Pretty much everything is posted to each in a slightly different way, with the exception of Facebook. Facebook has its own specific information that gets posted. This allows us to engage more with our following and then just reach the most amount of people. YouTube is just where we put all of our videos, and then everything, if you want to see it, is all on the website. So our pricing is pretty much, we have 3 membership tiers, Rare, Epic, and Legendary, and you get percentages off of the day pass price whenever you do that. We also are going to have hourly rates, or if you're going to be there for more than 5 hours, we recommend just getting our day pass. That way you save some money in the long run. So mainly our big question is, we don't really know the exact steps we have to take after this, because everything was kind of hurry up, get to the launch, get to the presentation. Now we don't know. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, before we start taking some questions, I want to say.
Also, that was weird. I usually walk around a lot when I'm talking, but I didn't have a clicker.
We'll give you a clicker next time. I don't know about you guys, but I love the roadmap about where we were last summer or last fall, and walking us through how that very systematic, and I think very appropriate for how any startup probably needs to look at how am I going to get from point A to point B. Awesome. Really awesome. I hope everybody else enjoyed that as well. Colin's got a question.
On the roadmap, there's people in here that could maybe test this. You know, getting funding and then getting the loan, a 1 month or 2 month like turnaround to being open. Is it really simple equipment? I don't know enough about that. Okay.
So
that seems like amazing.
Yeah, so we have people on hand that as soon as we tell them, hey, we need the parts ordered, they're gonna order the parts and build it for us, and then we're just gonna like commission them to do that. And then it's just the VR all comes pre-built, we just have to build the computers.
We have to change the building at all, or is that pretty
Not a
much-
whole lot.
Yeah, I was lucky.
If we get the one we're looking at least.
Lance.
That was just my question, because you said lease proposals.
Yep.
So, as you're working with, and I assume you've got got somebody that you're working with on the commercial real estate, which is tough. Making sure that they kind of follow whatever that you would be meeting the right requirements, but then being able to get that lease started, which again isn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn around in a day.
Yeah.
As I found. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, you have something ready to go, it goes back and forth. Do you have an attorney?
We do. Jackie Roberts, Wendy got us connected with them.
Awesome. I was just gonna say, those are other little things that I just wanna make sure of, because I found that it's a lot of hurry up and wait. And I think that's one of the things
Yes.
don't get frustrated with, because it is hurry up and wait.
Questions?
Sure. Do you need a physical location to make this idea work?
Yes. So the idea is to build a community space that people can go and hang out. Even if they just want to hang out, it's alcohol free, so that we have board game rooms and just space for people to go. And then also play the games and everything.
Mike.
Are you creating the content, or do you license the content for the VR?
For VR, we are licensing it.
You're licensed.
But we do have a very big game developing community here in town, and so we're going to be also offering the space for them to work on developing, and then we'll let people test the games there.
So I'm going to make a little bit of a stretch. Is this kind of like a co-working space in some regards?
Yeah.
Okay. Wendy.
I was gonna say, Jazz, I loved your presentation. I feel like you talked a lot about the business, but you didn't talk about the physical dream of the space. So can you talk us through, you told me quite a bit about it, talk us through what this is gonna look like what your space is gonna be laid out.
Okay, so, I can't believe I left that out.
Okay, because you should, this is the exciting part, so,
Oh, yeah. So our space got started pretty much, I grew up filming and editing videos, and then loving music and being into gaming. I was never the one in our family that was good at gaming. That was always my little brothers. And then turns out whenever I went to work at Best Buy, Tyler also was very interested in creating a VR space, just a new space that we don't have. So the idea of Now Loading is that we're going to start out with 20 computers, 6 VR sets, and then 3 green screen rooms fully equipped for you to walk in, shoot a video, go out to one of the computers, insert your SD card, and edit it all, and publish that day whenever you get it done. So it's just the giant space for any creative or nerd to just go and hang out.
Tom.
I'm curious. I know you've talked with a lot of people, and you're
Mhm.
you're from Columbia. How have you validated like each piece? Because you have all these really specific things that like fit together, but you know, like the demand for, you said 3 green screens.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, you know, do you know that those will be busy when
Yeah.
you're open?
So a lot of it has been just like asking people more so than doing any formal like poll research. We did that initially, had about 100 responses. About 50 of those responses said they would be using the green screen rooms, and 75 of them said they would be doing the gaming more. And so we'd use that, and then just talking to people a lot at Best Buy when I'm also helping them figure out what product they need. A lot of parents give really good feedback about, okay, well, if my kid wanted to learn this, would they be able to? And then we're gonna link them up with resources to get that figured out.
Would those just be part of the day rate?
Yep. Yeah, so the day rate covers everything. You can go play VR. If you wanted to go mess around and make a video, you could go do that. The day pass is just gets you in.
Yes.
You mentioned like in Korea, this is where kids would go after school.
Mhm.
Do you plan to market more to kids or to their parents?
So our marketing is more towards the college, high school, and parent level, just because Yukatsu's owners are my friends, and so we're kind of trying to stay away from marketing specifically towards kids. And when it comes to the high school level, we're focusing more on the kids who want to do digital media rather than gaming, but still giving that option of you can come in and practice.
So that's what differentiates you somewhat from Yukatsu.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, Keith.
This is intriguing. You said if someone coming in, you hook them up with resources, they wanted to learn something.
Mhm.
Expand a little bit on resources, and I have a follow-up.
Alright, so Columbia is like the best place to test this idea out because of having Stevens, Columbia College, Career Center, NU, and MACC. All 5 of those places have teachers and other people there who are really good at what they do. All of those places have a lot of digital media, and they're growing in their gaming sphere. So if you had a kid who wanted to learn, oh, I need to learn Photoshop so that I can start my photography business, then I have contacts, and we have a lot of contacts throughout town that work at the different locations, and we can be like, hey, could you come teach this class? We'll pay you this much, and then we'll market that, get it filled up, and then whoever wants to take that Photoshop class can come in for the day and take that class.
Great, I have a suggestion for you.
Mhm.
In addition to live human beings, there's a lot of stuff online
Mhm.
that can be leveraged. So for example, I can talk to you later on, but, what was it called? A whole bunch of us tried to learn computer programming, and it was using edX,
Mhm.
Harvard's computer science class. I didn't get quite the way through it. But there are free sources that you could actually offer and allow a bunch of people to take at the same time.
Mhm.
Because that would draw people in, it would build your community, right? So Udemy, and the best unspoken resource in town is the public library. Because through the public library, you have access to
Lynda?
lynda.com.
I've used that
Which
one
is
a lot personally.
awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, great,
Thank you.
great input there, Sean.
Okay, this is actually the second PR company pitch I've heard this morning, because anybody who hasn't listened to the Pitch podcast, it's really, really awesome, and you'll love it. It's like coming to 1 Million Cups once a week on the podcast. But the company there was doing training in some, it doesn't matter what they were doing, but the 2 issues that were there was, could you please make the case that the technology is where it needs to be today to do what you want to do, and could you make the case, given that we're not in Korea, that are there examples that you can follow here that you can say, okay, there's somebody I'm going to follow, and this is somebody who's made a success, and this is why we're going to be successful. Because the question is, we're here today, is that where a business like this can be successful, or is it going to take us another 6 months, 5 years, whatever?
Yeah. So for the technology wise, we are right on the brink of the technology being almost perfect for us. So currently, if you were to hook up to a Vive or an HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift, you're gonna have cords. The Vive has just released their Bluetooth adapter that gets rid of those cords. Oculus has actually just released the Oculus Quest, which is a Bluetooth cordless headset. It's not as good as the Rift because they don't want to market it like that, but it is coming. And so we believe with the HTC Vive pushing for that wireless that the Oculus will have to step up their game if they want to stay competing. That's why we're actually starting with 3 of each set, so people can get a feel of which games they like, which version of the system that they like, kind of like PlayStation versus Xbox. And then what was the second part of that?
And is there
We get it down to Lance's level and my level. And you've done something, because I don't want to single Lance out.
Yeah, the other part of the question was, is there a role model in the United States that really provides you a path to success?
Not in this specific thing. There are some in each individual. So the idea that got started with the Creator Studio part was Casey Neistat is one of the bloggers I watch a lot on YouTube. He's done a lot of videography and film making work, and he's brought it down to the consumer level for us. He started pretty much a creator studio up in New York called 368, and he documented that whole journey so I'm pretty much just following him step per step of what he documented and laid out for us. And then for the gaming part, that is more so that's growing so quickly. Esports is going to reach 1.9 billion by the end of 2019, if it doesn't hit it already. And so we have that followed out. It's more so just making sure that we stay ahead of anybody else who is trying to also enter the space now.
You know, I see something interesting, and I'll go back out to some other questions, is the Career Center.
Dave & Buster's is also kind of a path that we're following for the gaming side, because they were able to capitalize on the arcade. And so their arcade actually funds the restaurant, not the other way around. And then it's just a place where a lot of people go to hang out.
So I was thinking about some of your programs, and Keith touched on it a little bit. It began to sound a little bit like some of the programs that the Career Center tries to do in some types of training, but you're, niched down quite a bit more. The Career Center has a hard time filling some of those classes. How will you guys?
I think what the Career Center runs into a lot is that they don't market to everybody. They have a very specific market that they're looking at. A lot of that is high schoolers or college kids or adults who need this to advance their career. What we're wanting to do is start people out as soon as they get an interest in it, flood them with the resources so that there's no reason that they don't grow. So whatever age that is, they can come in and learn, and they're not gonna be made fun of or anything for it.
I think the other part of it too, as opposed to doing a Career Center class, is I have to follow their schedule of when they're doing it and hit it in the fall or the spring or whenever they do it, which I always forget. And this gives me the opportunity to do it on my schedule within some bounds. Cindy, you had it.
Yeah, my question kind of piggybacks on a couple of these as well. Like, what kind of staffing are you going to have? I love the concept, and I can see the value for using some of this, for different entrepreneurs, but it's intimidating to me. So what kind of hand-holding are you going to provide, or tutorials for us to walk through, whether it's online pre-training before you even step foot in the space, or is somebody available to give tours on a regular basis?
So we're going to have, to start out with for the first couple of years, it's just going to be the 3 of us kind of rotating through. So we're always going to have somebody in the space, whether that's we get some interns in and they help out, but we're always going to have somebody who, if you want to be, okay, I'm nervous about this is so much tech and I'm not a tech person, what do I do? So we're going to have somebody there that'll walk you through how to use everything, just the basic controls, and then with VR, there has to be somebody standing there all the time to make sure that you don't trip.
I like the idea of some tutorial type things, because like you, I'm interested in the whole green screen and video, but I know what a green screen is, and that's the extent of it. And I know you guys are all way smarter than Lance and I, so I'm keeping you with me, Lance. David.
You talked
we talked before that there's gonna be hurdles and roadblocks and you're gonna have to pick.
Mhm.
I think you're educating this audience about what your business is. And so I'm assuming as you launch this Indigo campaign, there's a lot of people that you're talking to give, that you want to give you money that don't fully understand the concept.
Mhm.
So therefore, not to be Debbie Downer, but you may not be as successful in your fundraising.
Yeah.
And the bank may say, we need you to hit this benchmark before we'll collaborate. So all that said, do you have a plan B, a scaled down version that you can prove this concept and then expand later on?
So our plan B is pretty much just kind of like doing pop-up shops, essentially. So we'll still have, because we want to make sure we have at least one Rift, one Vive, and then a gaming computer. Because then you can go anywhere with those three things. Set up a camera, let somebody film, let them touch and play, and then you have their exposure to it, and then you can collect their feedback and then grow. If it comes to we just need to save up more money, then it'll probably just be that we postpone launch and then just sit there and like save money and then do other crowdsourcing sites. And then we're also working with investors, like pitching to investors in town.
Keith, I think you had your hand up again.
I remember. Pop-up idea is a great idea. There's surplus real estate, and you may be able to use a space for a month and a half, so you don't have to pay rent. So that would help. That would be one thing. Number two thing, I'm glad you're keeping up with this stuff because it's really, really changing very quickly. And you're 2 seconds after the Big Bang. So just keep following this stuff. A lot of stuff came out from CES, a week and a half ago, about VR and AR. So that's another thing. And then the last thing is, if people are coming in, newbies, and they're wanting to learn this stuff, have you thought about kind of ongoing project that people can come in and work on? So it's actually a creative space focusing on one thing. So that would bring in people, right, to be able to, and a commonality. And I'll throw out a project for consider. Columbia's going to have their bicentennial coming up, what, 2 years or something like that. So that could be an interesting thing. What could you do? Brainstorm. What could the community brainstorm around gaming for this bicentennial?
Cool.
That's a great way to bring some people in that maybe are interested in video and learning more about that stuff. Just don't have a clue, but they have a lot of longevity in the community. They have a lot to offer. They just don't know how to deliver it about to the public. Yeah, so that's great. Colin.
Did you go to the cost, whatever pricing slide, whatever you call that, revenue?
That one?
Yeah, so like I love math and stuff, but I do not want to do math to figure out what math is. Like, I think this is. I had a note I actually wrote down on my phone, like talk to her about pricing. I don't know what read on the room or just if you tested that with people, because you know I pay a monthly thing of $50 and then I get 5% off each day. I think you want to make it as like clean and straightforward as you can. I know it's a lesson that Yukatsu learned. You know, they started out with like this menu of things. Now it's like pay $200 a month and come as you want or not. Like making it really, really simple. So that's something I would at least test. I mean, I could be wrong, but like talk to people. Does this make sense? Which one would you sign up for? And they're like, I don't even know. You know, like I don't know how long it takes to play VR. So I sign up for the monthly thing, but do I do 3 hours each day or? You know, you might need to you can kind of use that to educate people or just make it simple for them.
That's a really good point, Colin. And the guys, when Joe and those guys came in and talked about their pricing plan, that was one of the things that they identified they had to pivot just a little bit on to.
And I don't have a solution.
That's the neat thing about being in the audience. Is you can just have questions. That's fantastic. I saw a hand back here. Did I see a hand back on the back there? Keith, I'll come back to you.
I think the solution, you have it here. The solution is just on this slide is what's confusing. But the solution is just to simplify that you have 3 monthly plans and we have individual day passes. And then you can drill down.
Okay.
And so this is great detail.
Yeah.
But you don't have to hit them right off.
It kind of seems like there's too many options here as well.
Well, so you pay $50 a month, and then each day I come, if I do 2 hours, it's 5% off of that.
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's enough of an incentive. I don't know. I think you just need to test it.
Fair enough.
I agree. From just consumer side, it feels like would be difficult to make the monthly decision. I'd be like, I'll just do individual day passes because it's kind of confusing to figure out if I'm actually saving.
Yeah, and that's an interesting comment, because the goal for you guys is to get as many of those monthlies, because that's revenue you can count on.
As you grow the business, you will really appreciate the monthly.
The recurring revenue.
The individual day passes.
So, yeah, some great points there. Yeah.
Thinking about other potential markets for you, and I have a really good friend who works for Nebraska Public Media. And they're doing a ton with like 360 video, but he would be, of course he's in Nebraska, but like he would be so into sending some staff to learn more of this kind of thing. So I wonder if you can just identify area video companies who also want to be at the cutting edge, but they don't want to invest all the money that you will be into the equipment. So have you thought about that?
We have, and we're kind of thinking, trying to figure out like a business, like if a company wants to come in or like send their people to work on it and use our space, having them kind of like the hub pay a monthly fee so they can use it.
Yeah, cool.
Do you like that?
Yeah, Lisa.
I have a consideration. I don't know a whole lot about economics of business, that's why I'm here. But I'm thinking, as you're outlining this, Planet Fitness pays people to not exercise. Have you heard that? Planet Fitness sets up people for $20 a month. It's so low that everybody goes, hell yeah, I'll do that. I can afford that. And then we don't go. But yet it's so low, we don't notice it coming out. Netflix is the same thing. If you don't watch it, you know, but a couple times a month, it's still so low that I'm not gonna cancel, it's not worth the hassle. So you might consider, I know that, I suspect that what you set these numbers at is because this is the value of what people get when they come to you. But consider, a lot of us are gonna love signing up for something that is so awesome, but then we're not gonna come very often. And when that happens, if it's at your value rate, that your time and this service is going to serve them, we'll cancel. But if it's a little lower than that, we'll stick in there, and that's where we'll hang in there. And that's where your day pass discounts and stuff, that's where that's gonna come in and be your bread and butter. But maybe consider that your monthly fees, you're paying us not to come and develop our stuff. So we'll stay in the program. I know that's a little shticky, but that's why commercialism is the way it is, because consumers are dumb sometimes.
I love that. Because there's several
Pay
people.
us not to come.
There's several people in the room are thinking that.
Yeah.
None of them wanted to say it out loud. And I appreciate
I
you
will
being
always
here.
say the
I know
unspoken
you
thing.
will. That is incredibly awesome. Not sure whether it's a ballot or not, but I appreciate you bringing it up. Yes, sir.
This was kind of on your comment, totally reminded me as far as investors or potential people here that might want to be involved. I mentioned this because I don't have the connection to give to you, but a few years ago I was talking to Bobby Campbell, and maybe somebody here knows him more personally than I do, but we talked about doing a VR project together that ultimately didn't end up going through, and he discussed with me an idea or a dream of building like some sort of creative space that people could come and rent at, as well as like have restaurants and really cool idea. I have no idea where that is now, but he's also created a handful of pretty successful advertising companies, so he's doing well. I'm sure he would be at least interested in hearing something about this.
And what was his name again?
His name's Bobby Campbell.
Oh.
He started 3 Interactive and Division D.
Okay.
One other one, Ad Karma maybe. Yeah.
Everything Bobby touches turns to gold. That's all you need.
You might want to try to
Get
get
a hold of
connected
Bobby.
with him. I am not, so I'm not going to do that. But I'll throw it out there for the rest of the group, and maybe somebody else wants to make that work.
And I kind of characterize this, and I hopefully I didn't mischaracterize this, as a little bit of a co-working space. I would encourage you to talk with Amanda Quick
Oh,
at the
yeah.
hatchery with some of the things that she's faced over the last year and a half, 2 years since she opened the hatchery, and what she found the customer mentality and mindset to be with a space like this. A lot of people are shaking their heads.
Oh yeah,
Great idea.
she's normally here. She's like here every week.
She's on a cruise this week. I don't want to throw her under the bus, but
Couple.
Lance.
And yeah, I think one of the things that Amanda learned again was on pricing. But you have like, and I'm just looking at the snack bar, and you talked about the Dave and Buster's and the other stuff that actually. I mean, I know that their arcade does it, but it's also their bar, and I know you said it's going to be no alcohol. So, as you look at your free snack bar, what are you anticipating that looking like? Because that can ultimately be either maybe a good boost to revenue, or it's going to just suck you down if you're having to go ahead and have a whatever stock everything that you can, and people just don't utilize it.
So to start out with, our snack bar is pretty much just gonna be like going and buying the bulk things from Sam's that are like your chips and stuff that cost 30 cents a package.
Yeah.
And then
Kind of like at Yukatsu where they have that stuff there. Okay.
I didn't know they
Still
had
have to
that.
go and get it. and all that, like,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think it gums up a lot of stuff.
Amazon will deliver you.
Yeah, I would certainly, look at that carefully, because I know in my engineering company, we provided free snacks. And when I started looking at what I was spending a month, I mean, my God, these people are crazy. When are they working? They're spending all their time eating.
I think that gets to like, what do your people expect? Like, what is the value they have? Like, if you interviewed 100 people and none of them mentioned free snacks, then like, just get rid of that.
Okay.
Because you're just adding in extra stuff because they're nice.
Yeah, they can bring their own snacks.
Yeah.
BYOS. There you go. New term here. Yes, sir.
I guess I had a question. I don't know a ton about the space necessarily, but I do know that there's things outside of gaming that you can do with this too. Is there anything that you can look at to monetize these things that are outside of gaming? Like I know you can travel the world almost, and there's a lot of different things that you can kind of mess with. I don't know if there's anything that's...
There's not a whole lot that we've looked at. One of the biggest things is pairing up with Ubermont over here, because we want to have, since it is alcohol free, we want to have that space for people to go to hang out as well. So like we're going to have a bunch of board games there too, and for some reason I forgot to mention that earlier.
I think to your point though is utilizing the VR.
Right, is there just things that you do outside of the gaming side of it?
Yeah. Because I don't know much about the VR, but I can see that. I mean, a lot of folks are using that to be able to go a lot of places and sit in one room.
And I'm Tyler. But for VR, it's not just gaming. It can be, and that's what it's used for a lot, but it can be for like schooling, education. They have a lot of like, for instance, like medical anatomy, like, you see the body and you can actually learn a lot about it, that kind of thing. They have like surgery games, but it's not really a game, it's a simulation. They have flight simulators, they have all sorts of stuff. Then they do have that travel like part of it too, where you can actually go to different places in the world, because not everyone can travel all the time, or there's all sorts of things. It's not just gaming, but we can definitely monetize different things besides just the game.
I'm just envisioning the old game Operation.
Yes.
And now I'm going to do it in
It's
VR mode.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's basically what they do.
Now I'm excited. Where do I sign up? This would be way cool.
Yeah.
I get a bunch of my buddies together like that. We need to get a life. Keith.
You should know that in town, do you know Sarah Hill? Okay, so Sarah Hill lives here in town, and she was just listed as one of the top 20 women in VR in the United States. She's here in town.
Cool.
So Helium is her company, H-E-A-L.
Sean.
So somebody's gonna think I'm just trying to be provocative, and this isn't really my thing, but what about adult entertainment? Is that something you guys are entertaining at all?
No.
But thank you for asking. I was sitting here thinking the same thing.
For now, you guys need to sit together. Actually, it'd be great. Yeah, I think you both enjoy that.
Hi, I'm Bubble Mom.
How's you?
I'm curious. I know we're about out of time. I'm curious, like, how you'll know if it's working or if it's not working. Like, what do you have mentally? Like, if we hit this or if we get this many people, what's your validation metric?
We were working on this last night. We have a list in our Google Docs that tells us exactly what the percentages that we want to have, what that physically looks like. So the amount of day passes that we need pretty much for the break-even point is how we, like, if we hit break-even, we're good. If we pass that, yay, especially in the first year. But we have it marked down to, like, we need this many legendary memberships, this many epic, this many rares, this many individual day passes, and then this many group day passes, and then this many parties throughout the month. And so we have all those exact numbers down. Did that answer?
So back on just very basic marketing, how are you getting, besides being here and doing some of the things you mentioned, Facebook and Twitter and some of the social media, is that how you're really gonna market it, or what else are you trying to do?
So the majority of our marketing is gonna be through Facebook and Instagram ads. That, just because that's where people's eyeballs are. Anytime you're on even driving, most people are staring at their phones and scrolling through something.
If you do that, don't.
Not saying text and drive, but people do it. So our focus is not so much on like trying to get a TV ad or anything. Like if we get a couple news stories to cover us, that would be really cool. But we're focused more on running the ads through social media. That way we can actually, one, see all the analytics, because then we can see exactly what people click on, how long they watch a video, what they interact with most, and then also what happened from there.
Have you considered Snapchat? Because that might reach some of your younger audience, you know.
We've been thinking about it.
Okay.
That's the only one we haven't actually just dived
Yeah, I know nothing about it, and but
It's big, it's
So-
considered way up there, top 3.
I want to take this opportunity to do a huge shout out for Columbia College and
Thank
their
you, guys.
entrepreneurial program. I mean, I know there's a few of them here, but talk through the process. And you started to touch on a little bit about developing your business plan and this pro forma about where am I at on a cash flow type basis, where's my break even. Talk to me about where some of that background came for you guys and where you're at on that journey.
Yeah. So pretty much whenever we started on this project, I went to Becky Bockledge at CC. She's our entrepreneurship coordinator for our program there. And as you know, we're getting a fancy building for it now, but that's gonna be built after I graduate. But she has been one of our most vital resources. She was actually the one who directed us to 1 Million Cups and got me started going here in the first place. And so she then introduced me to everybody else through this. But she took us through the very first steps from idea, where it was originally just gonna be, I'm just gonna make a PC bomb. Just have a bunch of computers, people come in and play computers. Okay, but that's not really gonna work. Well, what else could you add to it? So then we started just brainstorming in her office over weeks, and then it became, okay, well, what if we added on the video editing stuff that I do? And she went, my 14-year-old son would love that, because I don't know how to do that, but he wants to learn. And so then we just kind of like kept spitballing. What that ended up letting us do was she got us started on the business plan. She sent me the original template that we followed, and then we followed that step by step to then find the SBA website, which just made it a little bit easier to handle because it was all just one question at a time rather than here's 15 pages to fill out. And so with all that, she has, anytime I've had a question of anything, whether it's the balance sheet, cash flow, we go ask her and she will take it, sit me down and then like write out step by step what this means exactly. Because while I've taken the business classes, the terminology is not my strong suit. So like there's all the fancy business terms, but then there's also, it's more intuitive for me. And so I also like to speak on a level that everybody else understands. So I like to take it from big concept to I can explain it. And she also does that for me.
I wanted to do that on purpose, Jazz, because Becky and Jazz and I had a delightful conversation that kind of developed organically. It was incredible about, and exactly what you said. And I think that's true in our other universities as well, but certainly my experience with Columbia College is taking all this book smart stuff and breaking it down into actual action items that entrepreneurs and business people can use to help develop their dream and their passion. So I appreciate you saying that. I wanted to highlight that because that really was cool, really cool. Other questions before we wrap up? We've probably got time for a few more. Any other thoughts? Yes.
I do have one question about the video room. Is that for people, they can videotape anything they want?
Lest it be illegal or like.
Oh, yeah. Right, no, but I mean.
Yeah.
So
Sean,
you're out.
I mean, you can actually go, how are you gonna work it out that, that room is available if you wanna go in?
So we actually have it set up to have bookings for everything.
Okay.
So it's free to use, but they may just put a price on there because that's how the website works. But you'd click on book, and then it'll bring you up the calendar, and you would pick what day. And the only thing that you have to book it with 30 minutes in advance for the green screen or the streaming rooms. And then for the parties, you have to book a day in advance. But that way, and whenever this is actually up, it'll tell you the available times. And then it gives us about 5 to 10 minutes afterwards so we can go and make sure everything's cleaned up, reset up, and then ready to go for the next person.
Nice.
Lance.
You just mentioned something about parties. And I was gonna say, is that something that you would also try to market more in that parent space or?
For parents and businesses, just because it's different, it's not going to a bowling alley or going to Billards. It's, you get to come, and then a big part of our parties is we're gonna have a professional videographer, professional, slightly lightly termed right now. We
It's
have
not
a
me.
lot of we have some MU students who are specifically wanting to do videography, and so we're gonna bring them on as interns, and then they're going to like do photography and videography during the event, and then create a memoir-esque thing that gets emailed, a video that's emailed to you within 2 days of your event ending, so that you have that tangible thing to keep, and then you can display that wherever.
So I'm just gonna challenge you on this, on the research part. I think Colin keeps going after, you vetting your customers on location. Everything you're doing is very, very location specific. So if you're trying to get people before and after school, that's gonna be trying to get a feel for the people who are willing to pay for this. You're also in a convenient location for them to access you. And if you're marketing to college students, so I would just challenge you, I guess, when you're doing your market research on this, that you're taking that into account. And when you're asking people, you're trying to at least get a feel for like the area of town or whatever, and make sure that they're willing to drive there. Because that makes a big difference. I know that's why Yukatsu's located where they are. I know that's a big challenge for most small businesses opening up here.
Yeah.
So.
And that has been the fun part, because there's that, like finding a place that people are willing to go, and then also finding a place that's big enough.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of square footage to put this together.
That's a big business challenge.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Jess. I was just thinking about the amount of technology that you have. It seems expensive, right? So what if you thought about like security and insurance and like liability, or do people have to fill out like waivers, or if they break something, just that whole world?
That we're also working with the attorney with is going to be having a liability waiver, but then also like not really a deposit, but make sure that our income is enough that if something were to break, we can replace it quickly. So we don't have like an entire room out of service because we're out a camera. But then just like making sure we have all of that, kind of bouncing around the idea of a deposit for the people who use the green screen rooms, just because cameras fall and cameras are not cheap.
And also ADH, GSP.
Oh yeah, and through working at Best Buy, and we're getting most of our stuff through Best Buy. Unfortunately, we don't get to use the employee discount. But they do offer their Geek Squad protection, so we're gonna put that on everything that we get. That way, and it's usually up to 3 to 5 years, depending on what you get. And so then if something happens, we can be like, hey, Tom, will you fix this for us real quick? Or send it off so we can get a new one. Not that different.
Mine's more like the Nerd Squad.
You might be able to leverage the discount if you advertise that you're using Best Buy equipment. Because that's a trade-off for them. That's free advertising. So it's something you might be able to tell them, hey, this is exposure that you don't have to pay for. So how about giving us something for what we're giving you? And students will know, they'll think, if I want to do this, I'll go to Best Buy because it's right there.
Yeah.
So ask them if you can do on-site advertising in that, somewhere.
Cool.
And with that, I'm going to wrap up because I kept letting it go and go, and now I really have run out of time. And so, Jazz, the last question we ask of you is, what can our 1 Million Cups do to help you guys?
So if you guys could check out our Indiegogo page, and even if you can't donate, share it out. But then also, if you see something on here that needs to be revised, like message us through Facebook or Instagram or anything else, and then we will get that fixed.
Awesome.
But yeah, thank you guys
Jazz,
for the feedback.
fantastic.
Okay, so Josiah already disappeared. We just got done with our 1 Million Cups presentation. We're gonna try to get this thing to turn properly. Oh, turn this way. Tyler.
Hello.
Hold up. There you are.
Hello.
Hey, how'd it go?
Fantastic.
Oh.
Oh, camera. It went fantastic.
Joystick
Got
work.
A lot of good advice, tips. Got a lot of good people.
Yeah, so that just happened. Insert live stream clip here.